Welcome to Advent of Tessellations 2023. I'm Madonna Yoder, and I hope you will join hundreds of origami folders around the world in folding this daily challenge to increase your origami tessellation folding skills, so the twists and repeating patterns folded all from a single sheet of paper. On the 16th day of Advent of Tess, we're going to be folding this pattern that I call Paved. It's close enough that the edges of these twists are touching, which is a condition called flagstone, although there will be areas that are not covered by twists, so it's more flagstone-ish than fully flagstone. And we're going to be using closed triangles densely around the back of our open hexagon, using the same technique that we did the last 2 days with the open triangles. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting with my open hexagon twist. So my mountain folds are coming one spacing above the right-handed corner, or I should say the right-hand side corner. And we can boop, squash that hexagon twist, smoothing everything out. And what I'm going to do now when I flip the paper over and zoom in is set up these closed triangle twists in the densest possible spacing. So what that means is that my valley fold is going to be exactly along this folded mountain. And then my mountain fold is going to be one spacing further away, coming to the corner of that open hexagon hole. And that's going to put my new mountain one space away from the old mountain in this direction. And so we're going to have that pleat tucking inside of the existing pleat before we squash our twist. So this is very similar to how we did the open hexagon, open triangle, except with the open triangle, this pleat was one spacing further out. And then we're going to come and untuck the pleat from under our triangle, setting up the same exact spacing. And notice that now this pleat is headed straight under our existing twist. But like we practiced the last 2 days, we're going to split the pleat coming out of the corner of the triangle. We're going to split it. And then down below, kind of underneath, we're going to split it again. So it does this zigzag wrap, tucking back under the pleat that's going under our triangle. And then we can go ahead and squash and repeat with the next pleat, remembering we're going just one pleat over, so we're pulling that out from under our previous triangle, setting up the new triangle itself, that three-way intersection, and then setting up that zigzag wrap, the compound wrap, to accommodate things so I don't have to run the pleat through the existing twist, which would not be such a terrible thing in this case because it wouldn't be adding new creases, but for minimizing layers that a fold is going through, we still want to have the compound wrap. So I'm going to repeat exactly the same steps as I go the rest of the way around. And no, this video isn't sped up at all. And notice I'm pushing up from the back to set up the three-way intersection of mountains. And then I'm also poking from the back here to get things set up for my compound wrap. So there's very much like using both hands on both sides of the paper, really for any origami tessellation, but especially when you have twists on opposite sides. So now this last pleat coming from that central hexagon, which doesn't look very much like a central hexagon hole anymore, we're going to need to do that wrap on both sides of the twist. And one thing I can mark that'll help us is that I need a valley going through, and this is like half a grid spacing out from the neighboring triangle. And we can notice that relationship everywhere else around the central hexagon. And as I open the lowest of these three parallel pleats, I'm opening the mountain and I'm going to pop it down so that the valley hits, but I'm not going to run the valley directly through. I'm going to let it zigzag through. And likewise, the mountains aren't going to go straight through. They're going to zigzag, just like those valleys. And then there's going to be connections between them and mountains that go out to the edge, and also valley connections between them and valleys that go out to the edge. And this is actually precisely the Mura-Ori corrugation. If you've heard of that, I'll make sure to put a link down below. So when we're bringing this up, now we want to open the middle pleat as well and run a mountain up and in like we've been doing under the next twist up. And here we can consolidate a bit this lower area, make things a little more familiar to work with as we set up the same wrap up above. And now everything is flat and stable as we squash our new twist. So this is a benefit of using the wrap instead of folding these pleats straight through the existing triangles, because when you come around to the last one, you can't squash something if there's already a fold going through it. So you need another way of dealing with that situation. And then popping over to the other side, we're going to take each of these compound wraps and notice how there's two parallel pleats in each direction. Well, one of those belongs to one compound wrap and the other belongs to another one. So we have these pairs of pleats in different directions that belong to the same wrap. And there's one going down into a hole. We're going to push from the back to bring that point up to the top. And notice now I have all of the mountain folds for a closed rhombus twist. So I'm going to today keep it as a closed rhombus twist and squash that. Tomorrow we will be turning those into open rhombus twists. Moving on to the next one, I'll open, pop that forward from the back, rearrange my mountains so that the valleys are on the correct sides, and squash the twist. And pop, arrange, and squash. Pop, arrange, and squash. Pop, arrange, and squash. And pop, arrange, and squash. Okay. So that is our entire tessellation today. We don't have any pleat overlaps left, and we've actually got quite a bit of extra space until we reach the edge. So happy folding, everybody. And make sure to check out the video on variations of how to continue from the start. It'll be linked as variations or be next in the playlist, or there will be a way to find it from this video. So happy folding, and I'll see you for the next one.